See, yes. Okay. Hi, everybody. It is Thursday. We're almost to Friday. Whoop, 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 whoop. Today we're going to be doing a class that's focusing on backbends and opening up the front body and creating a little bit more space and allowing us to correct our posture a little bit. So a lot of the time, most of the day, we're either hunched over at our computers, we're hunched over looking at our phones, and in some way we're just always like curling our shoulders forward in stress, right? And keeping our sort of neck and our shoulders. So we're going to work on opening up the chest and the shoulders. We're going to work on opening up the front of the hips and the quads and create a little bit of space in the back to get some back bends going. So you're going to need a couple pillows, a blanket, something that is like a yoga block. So it could be books, it could be a foam roller, it could be, we're not really going to be standing on them. So you could use even like a Lysol wipe container, basically just something that you're going to set your hands on, but you're not like fully resting your body onto it. So something that's like a yoga block. And I think that should be it. Maybe a strap. If you don't have a strap, a towel or another blanket might work. So, and we're going to get started on our backs. And this is where you're going to need 2 pillows. Ideally, the pillows are firmer. If you have yoga blocks, even better. So we're going to have 2 of them. And we're going to place the firmest pillow perpendicular to our spine, right like almost to the top of our mat, but not all the way up. And we're going to lay ourselves back on that pillow or the block, whatever you have. And you're going to place it right underneath your shoulder blades. For women, it's right where your bra strap usually would be, but it's basically right under the tip of your shoulder blades. So your back ends up resting on it, and then what ends up happening is your shoulder blades sort of like, or your shoulders and your chest sort of expand and open up towards the ceiling. You have your arms laying by your sides, and then you take that other pillow and you place it behind your head so you can rest your head on the mat or on a pillow. You may need to adjust a little bit and just like wiggle around so you get a nice comfortable position. What we don't want to happen is the pillow to be pressing into our thoracic spine so much that we're in pain. So I really want you to feel somewhat comfortable in this, where your chest and your shoulders and your heart is really expanding open up towards the ceiling. And you're allowing your neck just to hang back a little bit. So we're kind of counterbalancing the that iPhone neck, phone neck, mobile phone, whatever you want to call it, where we're always like crunching forward. So we're trying to counterbalance that that shape of our neck, right? And go ahead and let your arms lay out by your side. You can either have the soles of your feet flat on the mat and your knees bent, or you can have them straight out in front of you. And we're just going to let ourselves settle in here and start to take some deeper breaths. Allowing gravity to let your body sink further into the mat and into the pillows. Feeling the space that this is creating in the chest, in that heart space. Just allowing ourselves to surrender to whatever is coming up in this moment. So any emotions, any thoughts, any frustrations, allowing those sort of feelings to arise and observing them, but not necessarily holding on to them and attaching yourself to them, just observing and letting them pass by. And start to deepen the breath even more. See if you can take really, really long inhale breaths and then match the length of the exhale breath as you breathe out. Really exaggerating the breath as much as possible. See how much space that you can create in the rib cage and in the chest and in the belly as you inhale. And then as you exhale, letting yourself relax even deeper into the mat. Taking a few more moments here to just feel those nice long breaths, allowing yourself to come to the present moment, to arrive on the mat, arrive to this class, letting go of everything that you had going on earlier today, everything that you have going on tomorrow, just being fully present and feeling everything that this posture is providing to you. Just bringing your awareness there, bringing your awareness to your breath. Go ahead and take one more deep inhale breath. And then as you exhale, start to tip your head up. So pulling your neck up so that your neck is in line, tucking your chin towards your chest, taking your forearms down towards the mat, and then slowly starting to uncurl up by pulling, like almost like you're sitting up. You're pulling your low belly in towards your spine, and then drag your palms back so that you can press yourself up to a seat. And then we're going to make our way to child's pose. So we're moving those pillows out of the way. We're coming onto our hands and knees in tabletop position. Take your knees out wider than your hips. They could be as wide as the mat. And then take your toes together. Start to sit your hips back on top of your heels. And then walk your hands out as far as they go so that you can sink your chest through your thighs and rest your forehead on the mat. If you find that your forehead does not reach the mat, place a pillow underneath your forehead so that you have some sort of connection on the forehead. Take 3 big cleansing breaths here, in through the nose and then out through the mouth. So inhaling through the nose and a deep breath out the mouth. Breathe in through the nose and sigh it out. Last breath here, in through the nose. And a big breath out your mouth. Inhale, press yourself back up to tabletop pose. You're going to turn your fingertips to face the side of the mat. So your wrists are facing one another and your fingertips are facing the side of your mat. On your inhale breath, start to drop your belly low, lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, pull your chest through your shoulders, broaden at the collarbones, take your shoulder blades together, and then tip your chin up towards the sky. This is cow pose. And then as you exhale, you're going to tuck your tailbone down towards your heels, pull your navel in towards your spine, puff up the upper back, and take your chin into your chest. And then inhale, drop your belly low, lift your tailbone, lift your chin, lift your chest. And then exhale, take your tailbone down towards your knees, pull the belly in towards the spine, tuck the chin into the chest. And then just come back to a neutral spine. This time we're going to flip our palms all the way backwards. So our fingertips are facing our knees, wrists are facing towards the front of our mat. And then the same thing here, we're gonna move into those cat-cow. So drop your belly low as you inhale, lift your tailbone up towards the ceiling, broaden at the collarbones, lift your chest, lift your chin. And then as you exhale, you're gonna round and curl. Inhale, drop the belly low, lift the chin, lift the chest. Exhale, round and curl. And this may be a little bit challenging on those wrists, but that's the point here. We're just warming up the wrists here. Just move through about 2 more of these with your own breath. Eventually making your way back to a neutral spine and tabletop, and then flip the palms forward. This time we're just gonna sit back onto our heels, and then take your fingertips next to your knees, like tuck them almost right under your kneecaps. And then you're just gonna rock back and forth to massage and stretch the wrists on the other direction. And then we're gonna make our way back to tabletop. Walk your hands out all the way to the front of your mat. So our hips are stacked right over our knees, but our fingertips are stretched forward. We're almost like in a downward dog. And that's exactly where we're gonna go. So we're gonna inhale, we're gonna come into that cat pose by sitting our hips, or taking our tailbone up towards the ceiling and dropping our chest down towards the mat, and then looking forward. And then as you exhale, you're gonna round and curl into a cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your shoulder, your chin and your chest towards the front of the room. And then as you exhale, you're gonna round and curl. So now we're, this modified cat-cow is opening up more of the shoulders and the front of the armpits rather than just the spine. So this time we're just exaggerating the movement a little bit more to get more into the shoulders. So we're kind of coming down into this puppy dog pose. Inhaling as you drop down into that cow position, that puppy pose. And then exhaling as you're rounding and curling inwards. 2 more rounds with your own breath. And then eventually walking your arms back to tabletop position. And then we're going to come back into child's pose this time. Take your knees out wide, toes are touching, and then grab 2 pillows. Or if you have blocks or a foam roller, you want to put them at the front of your mat. And we're going to go down into child's pose, but we're going to have our hands on top of those props. So you're going to sink your chest through. If you need something underneath your forehead, place a pillow underneath your forehead. But I just want your hands to be resting on something above the floor. So we're continuing to open up the armpits here. And take some deeper breaths in and out the nose. Really feel the stretch in the serratus anterior, so the back side rib cage, and then your armpits and your shoulders. One more deep breath in through the nose. And then as you exhale, we're going to come back to hands and knees in tabletop position. And then you're just going to walk your hands forward and come all the way down to your belly. So we're going to move through some a cobra position, but we're going to have our arms. We're going to make some like lateral pullbacks with our arms. So in cobra position, I want you to think about pressing the tops of your feet down on the mat and lifting your kneecaps off of the mat. And then I want you to think about pressing your pubic bone in towards the mat so that your tailbone is moving down towards your heels. And then place your, just to start, place your palms at your rib cage, and then take your elbows and your shoulder blades and pull them together towards the midline of your body. And you're going to start to lift your shoulders and your chest off of the mat, squeezing the thighs together, squeezing the glutes together, rolling the inner thighs up towards the ceiling. So this is cobra pose. Then we're going to add the arms. So for just one moment, you can release and and look as I demonstrate this. But we're going to reach our arms forward and then reach our arms back and lift. So we're going sort of down into the Superman, but we're still lifted a little bit off of the ground here. Our shoulders are lifted off of the ground, but our chest is on the mat. Pubic bone is still pressing into the mat. So we're reaching forward into the Superman. And then as you inhale, you're going to pull your arms back like you're rowing. So inhale breath, or exhale breath to reach forward. Inhale to pull back. And we're going to do this for 15, we're going to do this about 15 times, and we're going to move slow. So we're warming up the core here. We're opening up the back body. We're strengthening the back. All the things that require a strong core and to support yourself in back bends, and then to support yourself in just your normal posture. So we're going to reach our arms forward. Take an inhale breath through your nose. And as you exhale, pull back. Inhale, reach forward. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, 3. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, 4. Exhale, pull back. Inhale, 5. Exhale. Inhale, 6. Exhale. Inhale, 7. Exhale out. Inhale, 8. Exhale. Inhale, 9. Exhale. Breathe through it. Inhale, 10. 5 more. And exhale out. Inhale, 11. And exhale. You got this. Just breathe through it. Exhale back. Inhale forward. Exhale back, 13. Inhale forward, 2 more. Exhale back. Inhale. Exhale back, last one. Inhale forward. Exhale back. And then release. Just let your forehead rest on the mat. Take your elbows out wide. Stack your hands on top of one another and rest your forehead on the top of your hands. And take a deep inhale through the nose. And a deep cleansing breath out your mouth. Letting go of some of that heat. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out the mouth. We're going to make our way back to tabletop pose. So coming back on hands and knees, walk your hands out towards the front of your mat. You're going to tuck your back toes under, start to lift the knees and straighten the legs. Pull, press into the hands to pull your chest through your arms and sink your chest back towards your shins. See if you can drop your heels down towards the mat. They do not have to touch. Feet are hips width distance apart. Hands are shoulder width distance apart. Ears are in line with your biceps. See if you can spin your biceps up towards the ceiling and then roll your triceps down towards the mat. Pull your navel in towards your spine. Press into the knuckle mounds of your hands. Spread your fingers as wide as they go. And then see if you can pull your shoulder blades up towards your tailbone so you can get long in the neck and you create space between your earlobes and your neck. Earlobes and your shoulders. Maybe you pedal one leg at a time, bending one leg at a time to stretch out the calves, especially if this is the first downward dog that you've done today. This feels pretty good. Getting out all those little cracks and creaks. And then eventually making your way to stillness. Take another deep breath in through your nose. And a deep breath out. Start to walk your feet forward towards the front of your mat to meet your hands. Take your feet hips width distance apart. Hips width distance means that your second toe is right in line with your front hip bone. Bend into the knees and let your chest and your rib cage rest on top of your thighs. Grab opposite elbows and then let your upper body hang heavy. See if you can take the weight into your ball mounds of the feet and the toes so you can get your hips a little bit higher over the heels. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Inhale, start to bend into the knees and look forward. Pull your belly in towards your nape, or your belly in towards your spine as you start to reach forward, keeping your knees bent, coming up with a straight back. We're standing all the way up. Arms reach up overhead. And then as you exhale, hands come in prayer down the center of your face and in front of your heart. Okay, so we're gonna do a few sun salutations, and then we'll just move through a little bit of a standing flow. As you inhale, we're gonna reach our arms overhead. And then as you exhale, you're gonna, like we're doing those lateral pullbacks again, right? So we're pulling our elbows down. At the same time, we're seeing if we can lift our chest and our collarbones up towards the ceiling. So like somebody has a string attached to your sternum, is pulling your chest up. We're looking up and we're reaching our arms up towards the ceiling. And then as we exhale, we're gonna lift our arms up and then fold forward all the way down. Inhale, come into a halfway lift. So we're rising up halfway. We're finding a long, straight, flat back. And then as you exhale, you're gonna plant your hands down. You're gonna step all the way back to high plank position. And then we're gonna lower all the way down to our bellies. Very slowly. Untuck your back toes. Take your, the tops of your hands next to your thighs. Tops of the hands are facing on the mat. As you inhale, place your forehead on the mat. Exhale everything out. And then as you inhale, you're gonna lift everything but your stomach and your hands off of the mat for Shalabhasana. So this is locust pose. And when you're in this pose, think about lifting in opposite directions rather than lifting up. So we're reaching our toes back and we're reaching the crown of our head forward. See if you can spin your inner thighs up towards the ceiling and your pinky toes down towards the mat. See if you can pull your shoulder blades together and broaden at the collarbones. And your gaze is about 6 inches in front of your mat. And then exhale, release your forehead, release everything back down to the mat. Take your palms next to your ribs. Tuck your back toes under, and then 2 options here. You can go back to downward facing dog through tabletop position, or press up into high plank, and then downward facing dog. Inhale, breath through the nose, and an exhale, breath out. Inhale through the nose, exhale out the nose. Walk your feet forward to the front of your mat. And then as you inhale, you're going to come into that halfway lift. So rising up halfway, finding a long flat back. And then as you exhale, you're going to fold forward again. Inhale, bend the knees, come up with a straight back. We're going to rise all the way up to standing. Arms come up overhead. And then as you exhale, you're going to pull your elbows down. We're finding those goalpost arms, cactus arms, lifting our sternum and our collarbones up towards the ceiling. Keep a soft bend into the knees here. Inhale, breath through your nose. Exhale, straighten the arms and then fold forward. Inhale, rise to the halfway lift. And then as you exhale, plant your hands on the mat and step back, high plank. And then we're going to lower to our bellies as we exhale. Untuck the back toes. Take your hands, tops of your hands next to your thighs. Inhale, rest your forehead on the mat. Exhale out everything you've got. And then inhale, Shalabhasana, locust pose. Lift everything up off of the mat except your stomach and your pubic bone. And the tops of your thighs, of course. Take deep breaths in through the nose, rolling the pinky toes down toward the mat, inner thighs up towards the ceiling. Pinching the shoulder blades together. One more deep breath in. And then exhale, release. Take your hands next to your rib cage. And then either come up to downward facing dog through tabletop position or pressing back, high plank, and then downward dog. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Walk your feet forward, all the way back up. As you inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then as you exhale, we'll fold down. Inhale, rise to standing, come up all the way. Arms reach up overhead. And then as you exhale, we're goal posting the arms, pulling those elbows down, lifting the sternum up towards the ceiling, and then looking up. Exhale, straighten the arms, fold forward. Inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then exhale, plant your hands, step back, high plank, lower down to your belly. Setting up for Shalabhasana, untucking the back toes, arms come to your sides. Inhale, forehead rested on the mat. Exhale all of your breath out. Inhale, lift and reach in opposite directions. Locust pose, Shalabhasana. Strength of your whole back body here is lifting yourself up off of the mat. We're breathing in through the nose and breathing out the nose. One more breath in. And then exhale, release. Place your palms right next to your rib cage. Tuck your back toes under and then make your way to downward facing dog in any way that you'd like. As you inhale, reach your right leg up towards the ceiling. See if you can keep your hips square here. So rather than opening up that right hip to face the side of the room, see if you can close off that hip so that both of your hip bones are parallel to the mat. And then as you exhale, you're going to step your right foot in between your hands. We're in a low lunge right now. You may need a blanket here. So I would actually take a blanket. You're going to place it under, like you may need it if you find that your knees, it's hard on your kneecaps to rest your knee on the ground. So we're going to drop our back knee down, untuck your back toes, reach your arms up. So we're in a full lunge, low lunge here. And I want you to think about creating a 90-degree angle with your front leg and your back leg. So rather than letting your pelvis tilt forward like this, where like your knee is literally going past your ankle here, and we have an anterior tilt of the pelvis, I'm going to come up so that my hips are right over my knee. And then I'm going to drag my right foot back so that I have a full 90-degree angle. And I may still have that tilt in my pelvis here. What I want to do and what you guys want to do is take your tailbone down towards your knee and pull your front hip bones up. And it's almost like you're thrusting your hips forward, right? So literally like you're twerking almost. So you're thrusting your hips forward. You should feel a nice opening in the top of the left quad and left hip flexor. Arms come up overhead. Really press into the top of the left foot and the shin here. And that's where you might need that blanket underneath the left knee. Deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're going to frame your front foot with your hands again. Tuck your back toes under and then lift the knee. And you may need to sort of wiggle that foot out any amount. But we're just going to drop that knee as you inhale, and as you exhale, straighten the back leg. And we are tilted now in our pelvis. So I do want that anterior tilt happening of the pelvis. And this should feel pretty nice in the quad. It should be a nice stretch in the quad and in the left hip flexor. You're just going to drop your knee down. Inhale, breath. Exhale, straighten the leg. Inhale, drop it down. Straighten it. And then feel free to widen the stance. You know, if you feel like you can go a little bit further, you can get a little bit deeper in this. You may need some props underneath your hands as well. But really explore this space here in the inner right groin and in the top of the left thigh and the top of on the left hip flexor. And then find some stillness where we're gonna keep our knee lifted here. You're gonna you're gonna keep the knee on the ground, my bad. You may need to have a block or some sort of prop underneath your left hand. You're gonna place it on the inside of your right foot. We're very slowly gonna start to twist our body open to face the right side of the room. So I'm gonna turn around. You may need a strap or a blanket nearby for this next posture as well. So prop is on the inside of my right foot. I'm turning my shoulders open to face the right side of the room. And I'm reaching my right arm overhead. So we're coming into this twist. You may need to toe heel your foot a little bit farther out, your right foot, front foot, a little bit farther out towards the edge of your mat. And then you're going to start to reach your right arm backwards behind you. Shift yourself forward onto your upper left thigh. So rather than being up on the knee, see if you can get a little bit farther on top of the thigh. Start to bend that knee, and flex the foot so that you can reach your heel towards your glute. And then you can point the toe and see if you can reach back for the top of the foot. And this is where you may need a strap to hook around the foot and grab the strap, or a blanket to do the same. So you should be feeling this pretty deeply in that left quad, inner left, and then the inner right thigh as well. And then just check to see if you're in your right leg, that your front knee, your right knee isn't going way past your ankle. And then with your hand, I want you to think about pulling your foot with your hand and then pressing your foot into the hand at the same time. So you're pulling with the hand and pressing with the foot. So we're creating this sort of opposite resistance. And notice that I'm not on my left kneecap. I am on top of that, of the very, very bottom of the left quadricep, right above my kneecap. Take one more deep breath here. It's going to be a little bit of a longer hold because this is tight for a lot of us. And then we're very, very slowly, without flinging that foot back, gently release the back foot. And then you're going to turn to face the front of the mat. Tuck your back toes under. You may need to walk your foot in a little bit more. Lift the knee. And then we're coming up for high lunge. So notice that in high lunge, I have my back knee, my right knee bent. That's so that I can try to get that my pelvis, the tilt on my pelvis, right? So I'm trying to take my tailbone down towards my knee. I'm trying to take my front hip bones up towards my shoulders. Oh, sorry about that. Hold on. On your inhale breath, you're going to reach your arms up towards the ceiling, and you're going to take your palms together. You're just going to take them together, and you're going to start to look up. And then with your fingertips, you're going to start to draw a line on the ceiling back as far as you can go. And this may be just an inch, like mine's only an inch, but I'm seeing if I can draw a line forward to back, right? And I'm in this slight back bend, my neck is dropping back. And then, critical here, I'm energetically pulling my thighs together, my hips together. So I'm pulling my left thigh forward in space and drawing my right hamstring back. So I'm sort of creating this like energetic pull towards the center midline of my body and like dragging my legs back towards one another. And that allows you to keep balance and build some strength in the low body as you do this. So one more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to tip forward and reach forward. And this is where you need those props. You're going to place your hands on props. You're going to take all the weight in the right foot and then come up into warrior three, lifting the left leg straight up through the inner thigh, keeping the left foot flexed, and then squaring off your hips towards the floor. So we don't want to open that left hip up. We want squared hips. So left hip is right in line with the right. Soft bend in that front knee. So don't lock out the knee. We just want to soft bend. And then just practice lifting those hands off of the block. So you should start to feel this in the outer, the gluteus medius on the right side. So right here on that left side butt. If you would like to play with the arms, you can fly your arms back. Pull your belly in towards your spine. One more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you're just going to place your left foot to meet the right. Clasp your hands behind your back. And we're going to fold forward and straighten the arms and reach the arms overhead. So we're just in this forward fold with this nice shoulder opening addition to it. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Release the grip of the hands. Drop your fingertips down towards the mat as you inhale, come into that halfway lift. And as you exhale, you're going to plant your hands down, step back, high plank, lower all the way down to the belly. Untuck the back toes, palms, our hands come next to the thighs, and we're coming into that Shalandasana again. So drop the forehead down to the mat, take an inhale breath. As you exhale, lift everything up. For 3, for 2, and 1. Release. Palms come next to the rib cage. Tuck your back toes under, and then press back into downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling, and then exhale, step it through in between your hands. You're going to drop that right heel down, right knee down onto the blanket. As you inhale, bring your arms up overhead, and then find those 90-degree angles with your legs. See if you can take your right hip flexor forward, and see if you can take your tailbone down towards your right knee. Inhale, breath through the nose. And then as you exhale, you're going to reach forward. Hands come down to frame the front foot. Tuck your back toes under. Lift your knee. Maybe widen your stance. And then as you exhale, you're going to drop the knee. Inhale, straighten the leg. And then exhale, drop the knee. So really find some fluidity in this movement here. Adding any additional movements that you like to make, but we're just trying to open up that right hip flexor and the right quadricep. This should feel a little bit different because we already did a little quad opener with this one. And see if you can keep your back straight, right? So I have, this is what those props are for. So you can bring yourself upright and keep a long straight back instead of crunching over like this. One more deep breath. And then eventually lowering that back knee. You're going to start to open up into that twist. So prop is on the inside of your inside edge of your left foot. And you're going to start to turn your shoulders open to face the left side of the room. And then reach your arm, right arm overhead. Sorry, left arm overhead. So we're coming into this low lunge twist. Inhale through the nose. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to reach that left arm backwards. Start to shift your weight forward on the right leg to come onto the bottom of that quadricep. So not on the kneecap, but right above it. Start to bend that right knee, flexing the foot, taking your heel first towards your glute, and then reaching down for the top of the foot. And then here's where a strap comes into play. Here's where a blanket might come into play if you can't reach. But we just want a little bit of connection there. So anything to reach for that foot. And a few deep breaths here. Making sure that that left knee isn't going forward past the ankle. You want nice stacked joints. And then see if you can find a little bit of a deeper of a twist here as well. So we're twisting and we're stretching that right quadricep. Inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, you're going to gently release that back foot without flinging it down. Squaring your shoulders to face the bottom of your mat, excuse me. And then you're going to lift your back knee and you're rising for high lunge. Take your palms together and then start to look up. Look up towards your palms. And then again, we want to find that energetic movement. We're dragging our front leg back towards the midline of our body and we're dragging our back leg forward. So we're pulling we're sort of just creating this energy. We're pulling our left hamstring back and our right quadricep forward, trying to squeeze our thighs together, squeeze our glutes together, and then start to draw that line back. Any amount, any length whatsoever. You just want to find a little bit of a back bend here, letting your neck drop back. Deep breath in through the nose. And deep breath out. Start to reach forward. You're finding your props. We're going to come into that warrior three. So weight is in that front foot. We're going to lift our right leg up. Square off the right hip so that it's right in line with that left. Soft bend into the left knee. Lift your right leg up through the inner thigh and really flex that foot and like you're stamping the wall behind you. And then just play with lifting your hands off. Maybe you take your arms back, fly them back. Pull your belly in towards your spine. Deep breath in through the nose. And deep breath out. Very slowly, you're going to step your right foot to meet the left. Clasp your hands behind the back. Extend your arms straight and fold forward. Deep breath in. And deep breath out. Slowly release the grip of your hands. Take your fingertips towards the mat. As you inhale, come into that halfway lift. And then as you exhale, you're going to fold forward. Step your right foot and then your left foot back, high plank. And then we're going to lower down to our belly. Untuck your back toes. Take your forehead to the mat. Take the tops of your hands down next to your thighs. Inhale, breath as you rest your forehead down. Exhale, everything you've got out. Inhale, lift up for Shalabhasana. Locust pose. Keeping the chin tucked. Lift through the inner thighs. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, release back down. Place your palms next to your rib cage. Tuck your back toes under. And then just make your way to downward facing dog as you exhale. And then as you inhale, reach your right leg up. Exhale, step it in between your hands. Drop your knee down. Arms come up overhead for a low lunge. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale, start to reach forward. Tuck your back toes under, lift that knee. Exhale, drop it down. Inhale, lift the knee. Exhale, drop it down. One more time through this. Inhale, lift the knee up. And then as you exhale, drop it down. Take a prop and place it on the inside of your right foot. You're going to untuck your back toes and then open up for that twist towards the right side of the room. Inhaling through the nose. Exhaling out. As you inhale, slowly start to reach that right arm back. Shift forward off of the kneecap and off on top of your quad. Start to bend the knee, the left knee, reach and grab that foot. And then you may need that strap here. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Deep breath in. Deep breath out. Gently release that back foot. Frame your front foot with your hands, tuck your back toes under, lift the knee, and then rise for for high lunge. Palms come to touch. Start to draw that line back and find a little mini back bend here. Squeeze the glutes, squeeze the thighs together. One more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to start to reach forward, shift your weight into your right foot, and then come into that warrior three. This time, if you want to add that extra challenge, just go straight for flying the arms behind you, palms facing down. Lift the left leg through the inner thigh and the heel. Pull your navel in towards your spine. One more deep breath in. And then as you exhale, you're just going to place that left foot next to the right, clasp your hands behind you, fold forward, straightening the arms, opening up that shoulder space here. Inhale, breath. And then as you exhale, release the clasp of your hands, Fingertips come down towards the mat. As you inhale, come into that halfway lift. And as you exhale, fold forward, plant your hands down, step back, high plank. And then you're lowering all the way to your belly for Shalabhasana. So setting it up, top of the hands come down. Take an inhale breath through the nose. Exhale everything out. Inhale, lift up. Pull the shoulder blades together. Roll the pinky toes down towards the mat. Tuck the chin. See if you can lift up maybe an inch or a centimeter, even higher. One more deep breath in. And exhale, release. Palms come next to your rib cage. Tuck your back toes under. Make your way back to downward facing dog. Inhale, breath through the nose. And exhale out. Inhale, lift your left leg up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, step it through for low lunge. Drop your right knee down. And rise, arms come up overhead. Inhale, breath. Exhale out. Inhale, start to frame your front foot with your hands. Tuck your back toes under. Inhale, straighten the knee, back right knee. Exhale, lower it. Inhale, straighten in. Exhale, lower. Inhale, straighten. And exhale, lower. Place the right palm on the inside of the left foot, either on the mat or on a prop. And then reach your left arm up for that twist. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. Start to reach that left arm back. Bend into that knee. Come up onto the quad rather than onto the kneecap and reach around for the foot. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale through the nose. And exhale out. One more deep breath in. And then slowly exhale, release that foot gently. Frame your front foot with your hands, tuck your back toes under, and then rise for high lunge. Hands come to touch. Start to draw that line. See if you can get a little bit further back this time. And reach up towards the ceiling. Lift your chest up like you have a string attached to your sternum and somebody's pulling you up from the sternum. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale, slowly start to reach forward. Weight comes into that left foot. And we're going to step up into Warrior 3 on the left foot. Challenge yourself here if you'd like to reach your arms back. Fly the arms, palms facing down. Inhale through the nose. And then exhale slowly. Place that right foot next to the left. Clasp your hands behind you. Straighten the arms and fold forward. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Inhale, slowly release the clasp of the hands. And then you're just going to come up onto your tippy toes and start to bend the knees and sit your hips down. So we're crouching down and we're just curling into a nice little ball. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out. Start to drop the heels down and then come to seated on your butt. Okay, so we're going to play with two different back bend options here. So we're going to start in bridge, and then if you would like to try full wheel, I'll cue that as well. So we're going to come all the way down to our backs with the soles of our feet hips width distance apart. So again, the second toe is in line with that front hip bone. And then start to walk your feet a little bit closer to your glutes. And then maybe you scoot your hips forward so that when you reach with your arms down, you can actually touch your heels with your fingertips. So palms are facing down, knees are straight. Using the soles of our feet and the strength of our quadriceps and our glutes and our core, we're going to start to lift our hips up towards the ceiling. So this is bridge pose, and you want to keep your neck straight here. You want to see if you can press your shoulder blades into the mat so that you're not pressing your cervical spine into the mat. And you can even start to wiggle your shoulder blades underneath you so that you're more on the shoulders here. And that actually will allow you to lift your hips up even higher. And we're breathing here. See if you can take your tailbone up towards your knees, to the backs of your knees and your hamstrings. And you're really trying to pull your front hip bones up towards your shoulders. So we're creating a nice long line of energy from our knees down to our shoulders. One more deep breath here. And then as you exhale, you're going to very slowly come back down. Okay, so second option here, we're going to go right back into bridge, but this time we're going to wiggle our shoulder blades even further underneath us and clasp our hands behind us. So take an inhale breath here, and then exhale, press your hips up. Start to wiggle your shoulders underneath you, and then clasp your hands. Maybe you walk your feet a little bit further, in just an inch, and then press into the hands and press into the triceps on your mat, and then press into the top of your head so that you're not pressing into that cervical spine. Roll your weight of the feet, roll the pressure of your feet on the big toe mound of your foot, so you're not knocking or letting your knees out wide, like go out wide. So deep breath in, see if you can lift up even higher, squeezing the glutes. And then as you exhale, releasing all the way back down. If that was a lot for you, I encourage you to just do that one more time. If you feel like you're ready for full wheel, you're going to take your palms and you're going to flip them so that they're right next to your ears. And really get them like close to your ears here. And then you're going to lift your hips up and come onto the crown of your head. And I'm not letting my weight into my head right now. I'm pressing firmly into the palm. So I want you to press more into the tops of your feet, lifting your hips up and press into the hands. And then straighten the arms and press yourself all the way up to full wheel. And then see if you can pull your chest forward through your shoulders, squeeze the glutes together, roll your feet. The pressure of your feet should be on the big toe mound of your foot. See if you can straighten your arms any amount. Deep breath in, deep breath out. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly, very slowly, you're going to drop the crown of your head back down, then tuck your chin, then take your shoulders down, flip your wrists, and then lower your tailbone down. Woo! Okay, so counter pose here. You're going to scoot your shoulders a little bit forward so you have some more space between your glutes and your feet. You're going to take the soles of your feet together and let your knees out open wide. And then you're going to take your right palm on top of your belly and your left palm on top of your chest. So this is really uncomfortable. Place pillows underneath your thighs, underneath your knees. And just let your breath settle. Let yourself realign. Deep breath in. And a deep breath out. One more time in through the nose. And deep breath out. Very slowly, you're going to take your hands and place them on the outsides of your thighs, and then just pull your knees together. Draw your knees into your chest, and then wrap your arms around your shins, around your whole leg, and just rock side to side for a moment. Maybe make circles with the knees. And then we're gonna, two options here. You're gonna take your legs overhead. So you're in this legs up the wall. And then start to bend into the knees. But try to keep your legs out or your ankles straight over your knees. So we're here, and then we sort of bend the knees, but our ankles are still right over. See if you can reach and grab for the outer edges of your feet. And then you're just going to start to rock and roll back and forth, up and down your spine. If you feel like you can do it, come into plow pose. So your feet, your legs are straight, and your toes come down towards the mat. So the trick here also is that you don't, if you feel like you're pressing into your neck, you're pressing into your cervical spine, please come out of this. But if you feel like you're on your shoulders and you can come fully forward, wiggling on top of your shoulders. So again, it's kind of like how we were in bridge pose, where we wiggle our shoulder blades underneath us, and then you take your arms and you place them in your low back, and then straighten the legs. But I don't want you pressing into that cervical spine at all. So press into the back of the head so that your neck is not touching the mat at all. Take a deep breath here. Deep breath out. Deep breath in. And then very slowly come out of it by dropping the hips down. Knees come into the chest. And just place the soles of your feet flat on the mat, and then just take them out wide, and then let your knees come together. And then hands, once again, right hand on the belly, left hand over the heart. And allow your spine to resettle. Deep breath in, and deep breath out. Take your feet together here. Take your arms out wide like a T. Drop your knees over to the left for a little bit of a twist. If you find that your right shoulder has lifted off of the mat when you twisted, place a pillow underneath your knees. If your neck allows it, turn your gaze to face your right hand. And just find a deeper breath here. Take one last inhale breath. And then as you exhale, take your knees back to center. Inhale through the nose. Exhale, drop your knees to the right. If your left shoulder lifts off of the mat, place a pillow underneath your knees. If your neck allows it, turn your gaze to face the left hand. And find a deeper breath here. One last inhale breath. And then as you exhale, take your knees back to center. Take them into your chest. Wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself one more squeeze, taking your forehead towards your knees. Inhale, breath. And then exhale, straighten everything out. You're coming into your final resting pose, final shavasana. So let your legs go straight out to the bottom of your mat. Let the outer edges of your feet drop down. Take your arms next to you with the palms facing up. Lift your shoulder blades off of the mat and pull them together underneath you, and then lift your tailbone up off of the mat and then pull it down towards your heels so that you're resting more in your sacrum. If your eyes are not yet closed, go ahead and close them. And let your eyeballs fall deep down into the sockets. Lips are slightly parted, the jaw is relaxed. The tongue is removed from the roof of your mouth and resting in the back of your throat. Remove the crease in your forehead. Just let your body fully relax here. Noticing if there's any areas that you're still tensed or you're still gripping, just let those areas go so that you can really enjoy this final resting pose. Let go of any breath control that you have. Just find a nice, easy breath. I encourage you to stay here for at least 5 minutes, enjoying this pose. Please stay here as long as you need. I'm just going to mute the video, but just stay for at least 5 minutes, and just want to thank you for joining today, and I'll see you again soon.